Welcome to Movie Making. I'm your host, Renelle Golden. Hello, we are here with Michael Robert Kessler. Michael, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to talk about all the things that you do. You are a filmmaker, you're an actor, and I've heard rumors that you wear at least 20 hats.
I do 22 hats to be precise.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to talk about those different hats and how you feel about them and all that good stuff. So, I know lately you've had a couple of films out there that are just like busting butt on the film festival circuit right now, and you've been flying all over. And so, how are you doing with this cool experience of getting to get awards and go see your film play all around the country?
The best part is actually just sitting in the audience and seeing how they respond over any of the rest of it, because the rest of it isn't really to be expected. I know that's a cliche for people to say.
Right.
That wasn't the intent of doing it. But so sitting down and actually, because I also like a lot of the subject matters that I touch on aren't necessarily like, hey, we're going to do this to go win an award. And it's like, there's 3 or 4 different reasons people make things. It's like to educate, to, move, to inspire, all these different reasons. And the last one is entertain. And I think that's where I fit in a little bit more. So sitting in the audience and watching and listening and the cool part is like being in, like, let's say Florida versus California, and seeing where people laugh at certain moments on the different coast is definitely a thing.
I was going to say, is it regional? Are you getting that they get their humor in this place, but maybe not as much over here? Or
no, they do. I mean, some of in this last film, It's Sunny Outside, there was definitely some things that were specific to Florida, because my goal was to, I just moved here recently, so my goal was to make a film, get into as many festivals here in Florida as possible. That way I can start connecting, making a team, networking, and doing that. So there was some stuff that were definitely specific to Florida.
Very cool. So what got you into making films? Like, is this something that you've been doing a long time, or you just sort of got back into it?
So I originally, I wanted to direct for the longest time, but I was too scared. I was a little baby, and I thought that it was something that
I went through that.
Yeah, so like, 15 years ago or whatever it was, I was like, oh, I suck ass. There's no way I can do something like that. So let's start with acting. And I always kind of had this aspiration to act.
Right.
And getting into classes and coming from more of a theater background, the way that I was trained, to like eventually get to the point to where, it was a very open, beautiful space to where you could write something and bring it in. You can direct something. You can do anything you want. You can sing in class. You can do anything. And I love that type of environment.
Yes.
And I was persuaded to direct. And ever since I did that, it was just, I just love it. It's just an amazing.
You now have the bug. So if you had to choose between like directing or acting.
Directing.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you
that was quick.
Really love it.
Ready to fire. I think that I act to direct, and I write to direct, and I produce to direct, and I wear all these different hats because of the fact that I prefer directing. But at the same time, starting out as a director, there's not a million jobs out there. There's one job for each project, when each project has, so many different jobs for different people. So creating my own projects, controlling my own projects, writing my own projects, and doing these things puts me in the position to be able to create more art,
to wear many hats, and to actually, you're such a big part of each project. Then now, if you how did you feel about directing and acting in the same project? Was it difficult? Did it stress you out, or did you just like roll with the flow?
It was, at this point, it was nothing, because I have done it before, and everything that I've created up until this date I have been in. So
Gotcha.
It was just something. And when you come, I don't know, coming from, the kind of background that I came from, and always being involved in acting for so long, like it just, I don't know, it just didn't seem
it was difficult. Just natural, just
I think so.
Fell into place. That's awesome.
I come from a finance and sales and management background, to where I was the director for finance companies for a long time, and so I kind of had to wear many hats. So I think,
and how to be the boss, but also be one of the team.
Yeah, I had to produce and I
Okay.
had to direct at the same time being in those positions. So I think it just kind of overflowed. I think that all filmmakers and actors alike can benefit from definitely being in sales and vice versa. Salespeople could benefit from taking an acting class.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's interesting. So do you have plans in the future to just like as you grow at this and you make more and more to ever just take the director's reins?
Yeah,
Or
so we're working on a project right now to where we're working on getting the budget for it, and that is something that I'm going to direct only in because I do want to do that because even I tend to use the same people like most people do, and my DP just recently was like, "Man, come on, like I want you to be back here with me. Can we make something where we're not just looking at your face the whole time?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, we can do that." So this
very
next,
cool. Very
yeah,
cool. Are
oh,
you writing that or are you writing more
I'm
things
I'm
or
not. I am writing more things. I'm always working on writing more things and getting better at writing. I think that again, I think all of these jobs like make each of the jobs better. Like not knowing how to review a script or look at a script, I think can hurt a director. And I think
yes,
that
yeah.
not knowing what goes into directing can also hurt a screenwriter. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree with you. And I know a lot of like, I do direct projects that aren't necessarily something I wrote, but um I'm a writer, director, producer kind of thing. But what I've noticed through I've been doing this about a decade and a half, but what I've noticed is a lot of like indie filmmakers that are just starting out or whatever that are directors, they don't prep. They show up on set and yell action and cut. And I
it's
see them going into that and I'm like, oh, dude, because I also have the film festival that I've had for a while. And um, I just I think as a director, you really need to know what every department does. And you need to go in there prepared and you need to know what your shots are going to be.
for
And
sure.
and I just it's so much more than just yelling action. A matter of fact, the AD needs to do that. So
And even like I taught myself how to do sound because sound is one of the most
critical.
difficult and important things on set. And I don't
Yeah.
ever want to do it again. But I bought equipment, I taught myself sound,
Yep.
I did it. And
Yeah. In my
like,
first project, I relate because I ended up holding the boom pole and doing a little bit and a little bit with lighting. And I'm like, never again, because I'll probably set the building on fire or you won't have any sound. But it's really important. And, what I think's great about you and what you're telling me is that you know what every department's doing. And so you can really appreciate and respect the members of your team, which
it
makes you
is.
stronger.
And that respect comes in communication, and that communication becomes specific. And that's what everyone's looking for in a director is someone who is specific and knows what they want. And if you don't know how to tell somebody like a certain aspect and something technical, or at least be able to express it like in the edit or whatever it is, you're
Right.
not going to be specific and people are not going to necessarily trust you as much. And there is a sense of a hierarchy in it when
Yes. Yeah.
also at the same time there isn't one, but everyone is
Right.
looking at someone, just like the director's looking at the producer, everyone's looking at the director, like everyone's looking at the AD. There is a system in place for specific reasons because
Yes. Yeah. It
too
has
many.
to exist in order to move forward. That's so true. So, so true. Have you had a favorite project so far?
Just probably the last one that I did that's in festivals right now. It's sunny outside because of the fact that it was so personal. And and I had one guy. It was one of the a project where there was almost nobody involved and we were able to get through it. It was me and one other person did the entire thing besides the actors. And I got my family involved with it because I just
That's
moved here to
cool.
Florida. Yeah, I just moved here. I
Yeah.
didn't know anyone. I was like, and I wanted to make something. And um, so I used everything around me, like that whole Robert Rodriguez mentality and trying to
Yes,
use.
and I love him. He's one
Yes,
of my favorite, at least in his viewpoint on how to get shit done. I love
yeah,
him. So,
getting
oh,
shit
very
like
cool.
done by using what you have at your disposal
Yeah.
and trying to make something where barely any money was invested, but it looked like something that was done with a budget, you know? So it
Yes,
was really
yeah.
fun and personable. And this is the first time that was the first time that I went to the festivals. Usually the reason I love film festivals, but there's also this thing about festivals where you have to wait so long to share your art, and it makes me sad. So
It's hard. It
it
is
is.
hard. I kind of have stopped doing them except for my screenplays. Because I like the feedback and stuff, I may still enter things in them, but it is kind of hard, and it's for the same reason
It
that
is.
you're
And
saying. It's like
everyone,
you want to show the world, man. You just made this thing, and I get it.
that's
Yeah.
the whole point of making it, because there's like people are like, oh, you only make it for yourself and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but if everyone was dead, would you still make it? If the whole world and everyone in the world disappeared right now and there was nobody left in the whole world, would you still create something for yourself? I mean, would you
Probably.
really? Yeah, maybe. But making a movie by yourself to watch it by yourself, that's kind of weird. I don't know. I maybe
I
like
don't
there's
know. I used to write music, eons ago, and a lot of them were very personal. They were just, kind of cathartic. And I wonder, would filmmaking be like that?
I
Of
think it's a
course, you need some clones.
correct. So you're just gonna act, you're just gonna be every character in it. And then I mean that's kind of weird. I mean, what you would make. I mean, there's a lot of that actually on social media now where everybody plays every character and it's
Oh,
all
I've seen that. Yeah, I'm like, how are they doing that? And I like watching it when they're dancing. It's fun. But you're right. So, do you have a like a dream project, or a genre that you particularly want to do that is on that bucket list?
I don't really have a bucket list of genres to do. I just love dark comedy and absurdity. And I like, there's so much stuff in life that where like, the whole adage of like the guy falls and slips on the banana and everyone laughs. Like, why would we laugh at somebody's pain? But we do,
Right,
when
right,
at least when we're alone,
right.
like maybe it's not socially correct to be out in public and someone gets punched in the face and you start laughing. But if you're at home, you might. And maybe that's a little bit extreme as far as
Well, you never know.
you never know. And so
Yeah, you don't know. That's interesting.
I like that, and to bring things in your life and to exaggerate them to a level where people can laugh about it.
Right.
Like it's you have to laugh at fucked up shit, because if not,
Yeah.
then it stays fucked up and you're stuck there. So
Yes. Yeah, you kind of do. It just, if not, you're going to be a miserable old bastard or something.
totally. And I say no a lot to stuff because I want to make sure that I can bring something to the project, or I'll pass it on to my team or somebody that I know that directs within my team, because I really, really want at least my sensibility, my sense of humor or something to match up with what I do. So I
Yeah.
want to do other people's projects, and I love, especially, because I worked at the beginning when I started this, I worked on a lot of stuff that was very deep, like Mamet and Shakespeare, and breaking
Oh,
stuff
wow.
down and putting other people's work up there and showing your point of view on somebody else's work is really, really beautiful. I wouldn't consider myself the best writer on the planet because I just started a few years ago.
Right.
So that will get better with time, but I write to direct, and I like taking somebody's brilliant piece and turning that into something and then showing it to that same person, and they're like, holy shit. Like I didn't
That's
oh my,
awesome. That is so
oh, I
cool.
didn't know that was. It's like, well, no, you did. You wrote it. You might not have seen it, but all the time we write stuff all the time where we didn't know that's what we were writing, but someone points it out, and you're like, oh yeah, totally, that's what I meant. Like but you did, but you don't realize you did.
Yeah, I love that take on it. I've never thought about that. That's interesting. It is interesting because when people do read things that, you've written or I've written, they do notice things that you didn't realize you put there, or they take it a certain way, and sometimes it ends up being magical because it is actually brilliant, but you didn't necessarily intend it to be that way. So,
Even it doesn't matter who the writer. Tennessee Williams said the same thing to Eli Kazan. He goes, I didn't write that character to be that way on Streetcar Named Desire. He goes, well, no, but you did. Like so even somebody at that caliber, it's just we don't know. Like some of the most brilliant ideas that we might come up with that might be the most arbitrary choices. I
right,
love
right.
that I work with that within stuff when I'm working the scene out. I like to do a lot of prep before, like you said. I don't like to just show up and work stuff. I would rather work the scene out to find the beauty, and then maybe not have it complete and work it out to an inch of its life, but continue that journey while we're filming. And
Yes, yeah.
and to work on arbitrary choices, I think is so important. I think everybody can learn something from that. Like, you're doing something about, like, just something I don't know, it's sunny outside, but then you get somebody to grab an umbrella and walk around just in case it rains, and like, well, that's the most arbitrary choice.
I
But then
love
all of a
it.
sudden, yeah, you find a quirk in a character that you didn't know was there, whatever it might be.
Right, right. I love that. I love it.
Yeah,
I actually love the dark comedies too, like the
my
dramedies.
favorite.
I
I
have a series I'm dying to make, but of course, breaking into television is much harder than getting our feature films done. But
totally.
it's all dramedy and thought-provoking, you know.
I love wit, humor,
Yes.
darkness, and dryness. And
Mm-hmm.
movies that do that, like Heathers and True Romance and Tarantino films, and uh
Yes, Tarantino. I love
oh, I love it.
love his
And
way of presenting.
there's
Yeah.
a horror comedy out there called Tucker and Dale versus Evil that's just amazing. And it's just
Yes. I think I've seen
Sean,
that.
that's great. It's like from the perspective of somebody, like the killer is always generically like the hillbilly guy. And so there's these two hillbilly guys that happen to be by this cabin that these teens come to. And the hillbilly guys see the killer that's killing everyone, but they keep pointing fingers at them. They keep running from
Yeah,
him, and
yeah.
they're running into the killer's arms. It's just amazing. It's just
Yeah. I love it.
Evil Dead. Like, movies like that are just amazing. Like, it's just torturous shit that you laugh at. And like, we need to, because we're all being tortured to an extent in
Yeah,
our
that's part
our
of
own
life,
world.
right? You've got your joys and you've got your torture, and
Yeah.
any given
I
day it can be mixed up all day. So
I think it's
so this year, what do you have, what's next on your agenda?
so we started my production company, MG Picture Films. We started a YouTube channel just recently because I want to start putting up work to test different types of ideas that maybe we haven't come up with. And that doesn't just have to come with writing, that doesn't have to come with the directing. It could be like, hey, you know what? We've never tried this with a camera before, so let's build on that.
Oh,
So I
okay.
just and so we built this YouTube channel because I wanted to be able to put up 1 to 5 minute shorts in between festivals and things that I'm working on. So I have things to share. So if I do have to go to festivals where I have an NDA or there's other things going on, I can still work on my craft and I can still put stuff out there. And
I
I
love
can,
it. Yeah. And
yeah,
you're building your fan base or your
totally.
audience.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. So we just finished something, and we had this idea of just, hey, it'd be really cool if, like, it was from the perspective of like cameras, like of the house and things like that, and the ring and
oh,
dash cams, and trying to use that and how we could build that into something. So that was, I had this small idea. My DP had this other thing that we mixed, and I was like, okay, so I'll write it based on that. So we're trying concepts, but at the same time making it story driven.
that is really cool.
Yeah, it
Really
is.
cool.
We just finished one, called I'll Walk. That's going to be done, I think, like in the next 10 days. We just got the string out done with it, so we're going to do that. And I
Nice.
started writing the next one, but I paused on that a little bit because we got something in the works right now that we are potentially, depends if the budget goes through or not, it gets approved, but potentially going to be working on next. So we got to freeze on that for a
What
bit.
is your YouTube channel? Is it just your name or
mgpicturefilms.com.
mgpicturefilms.com? Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So
Um,
just started. There's only a few things on there, a trailer, and like the first thing that I ever did on film, which was a silent film during COVID.
oh,
Um, so it's a couple-minute thing, and
good
trying to,
old COVID, right?
yeah, and that was an experiment. Like, can you tell something with no words, and can you use an iPhone to make it and make it look like it wasn't shot on one? And we were successful.
Oh, I love that. I'll have to look that up. That sounds cool.
Yeah. So the next thing will drop in
Wow.
about 10 days, and the next thing is written right now, and
Okay.
yeah.
So lots of good stuff. And I know that it's sunny outside isn't done probably with the festival circuit.
The
So
last one is going to be, I think, I mean, there's always a couple out there, but the last one is going to be at Sunscreen. Should be.
nice. Okay. I love that festival. It's a very good one. So
I love
um
it. I love it.
yeah, yeah,
It's a
that's
beautiful
super
one.
cool. Super cool. All right. Well, we're gonna transition now because we only get X amount of time. And what I'm gonna do is what I call my 5 for 5 segment.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you some goofy questions.
Okay.
And they're not goofy, not
Okay.
really,
No.
not, you know,
Oh, well, now
but
I don't want to answer them.
yeah. No, they're difficult questions. Like, how do you define pie?
How do I define pie?
Is that a question? I don't know.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to do that right now. I was like, oh,
No, because I
hell,
wouldn't know the answer.
this is starting very Talmudic. I was like,
Yeah. But whenever you're ready, I will start and then we'll have to say goodbye. But I definitely want you to come back. So
yes,
are you
please.
ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's
All right,
do it.
here we go. Question one. What is your favorite food?
Meat.
That's so perfect. I bet my kid would say that too, my son. Okay. What is your favorite thing to drink after a long day on set?
Water.
You know what? I love that. I've done 7 interviews in the last 2 days, and 4 of you said water. That means you're actual real filmmakers because you've got to like rejuvenate or whatever you call that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a drink would be nice, but I know I'm going to be a piece of shit in the morning and I'm going to be an asshole. I have an edge when I drink, and that's not
Yeah.
fun. It's
Oh,
funny, but at my expense.
yeah.
So
Nobody would appreciate it if you got to go back to set the next day.
no, and then you get dehydrated and you don't have any energy and it's just shit. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this one I've been asking people and the reason is I need to know, but nobody's had a good answer yet. And you have kids, right?
I do. I have an 18-year-old daughter.
Okay. Well, you might appreciate this, although she's older now, but all right. So you're in your house, you're having one of those days, everybody's bugging you, and you really need some private time to unwind. Where do you go to hide?
I leave. I either leave
You're just like,
and
I gotta go,
I
man.
gotta go and I'm
Yeah.
out.
One
We've been
person's
married for a
like, can I
long
say
time, so I'm like,
forest?
yeah, we've been married a minute and we've been married for 22 years. And if I say I'm out, they're like, okay.
We'll see you
Nobody
later,
cares.
right? Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit anyways if I leave. They're like, good, we can have our own time.
Let's have a party. Dad's gone. Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Okay. Favorite song to sing at the
Wait,
top
wait,
of
wait,
your
wait, wait,
lungs?
wait. So was that the good answer?
Um, yeah, I mean, I keep hoping there's somewhere to go in a house, like like Harry Potter can walk in the train station and be
Oh
on that.
no,
I can't find anything.
her mom lives with us. We have a cat. It's my wife. It's all these women against me. And
Oh God. Well,
hiding
no
in
wonder
the
you leave.
house doesn't, I would have to hide under the house, like to hide from them.
I love it. Yeah, up north they have those wonderful basements and attics. You got options, but
Oh,
Florida,
not here.
there's no
Oh, no.
options.
You
Yeah,
don't want
it's
to go. If there's a basement here in Florida, you don't want to go down there.
no, you get a little wet
You'll
probably.
get
Yeah.
wet. You'll get black mold poisoning. Like it
Oh
wouldn't be.
God. Well, that's a whole nother movie, right? Who knows
Yeah.
what you'll come out to be? Oh my God. That's funny. Okay, question number 4. Your favorite song to sing at the top of your lungs in the car?
Whatever's on. I don't, what's weird is I don't know the lyrics to any song on the planet. I don't know why.
You
I think,
know, I totally get that, and I honestly like talk radio. Over in Tampa area, they have a really cool station, 90 something, I forget, but over here they have a really cool one. And until night, I just like listening to all those guys talk nonsense, and I don't listen to music in the car, so
I
I
love
wouldn't have an
podcasts.
answer.
Yeah, I love podcasts and classical music and
Yeah,
songs. I don't know the lyrics to anything.
that's awesome. I can appreciate that, definitely. So, all right, number 5. What is your favorite movie?
That's so horrible question.
I know it
That's
is because we're filmmakers.
terrible. And every week it changes. Like I just saw 8.5 recently, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
And then I'm watching Atlanta last night and some of the in between episodes, I'm like, holy shit. And then I just watched Pulp Fiction again the other day. It's so hard because every single movie that I watch, I'm like, yeah, this one's my favorite. I watched Casablanca when I was in Vegas
I
again.
love it. You know what?
And
I've been waiting for someone to give me this answer because
yeah,
that was the answer as filmmakers I was looking for. Although we all have maybe that one film that inspired us to be a filmmaker or inspired us to write. But I'm the same way as you, although I did as a kid, because I think I'm probably much older than you, but I liked The Sound of Music and Fiddler on the Roof, that kind of stuff. But then Saturday Night Live too. Anything. And
Musicals
then
are tough for me. Musicals are hard. I don't know why. I don't. Sweeney Todd, I loved.
oh my God, I love Sweeney Todd. Yes.
Yeah.
My
Nightmare Before
roommate was
Christmas, I
in that,
loved.
but it was funny. They made it funny instead of that dark, intense drama. It was
Yes.
hysterical
Yeah.
in college. Yeah, I love that. Um,
So I
well,
got one of the answers the right ones. Yes.
yes, you did. You did. And everybody else was like, we got Sound of Music, and we did get one horror film, but a lot of people said Star Wars.
Did that.
Yeah,
I
yeah. And I was
was
people
not.
I wouldn't expect to love Star Wars. So
I
that was
get
kind of
people
cool.
that hate me because I'm not the hugest Star Wars or Star Trek fan, or I never got on board with that stuff. I don't know why.
It's not your cup of tea. It's totally cool. I mean, I am like you. I love them all. And
Me
there was
too.
some obsolete movie I saw years ago with my sister called Dead Again, and it was about two people that meet in modern life at the time, but they both had past lives where they were
Oh, who
together.
stars in that?
I don't even remember, but I love the
I think
movie.
I've seen it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
I'll look it up.
crazy. And it was an intense drama and retelling of past lives, and it was so different. But like you, I love them all. So I really, really appreciate you joining us today to talk to us. And if you want to come back, if you've got a film coming out or anything like that, just holler at me. We'd love to have you on again. You
Yes,
were a
please.
delight.
And by the way, Andy Garcia, dead again.
Oh my God. Oh, I did not know that. You are so quick. Okay. We got to watch that. Yes, watch that movie and come back and talk to me about it sometime.
I'm going to now. Now I'm gonna have to do that. I
That
will.
would be so cool.
And
So,
we'll just sit here for 30 minutes and talk about that again. That sounds amazing.
oh my God, but let me watch it first, please, because my memory's foggy, but I just remember the concept. I loved it. So,
Do it. I'm gonna watch it. Now I have to watch it. I have to see why this is your favorite movie. And that's such a beautiful thing when someone says it's their favorite or they love this or they love that. Like you really get to see when you talk to somebody about something that they're passionate about, you really get to see who they are. And I think that's amazing. It opens up
yeah.
because there's no like shields or guards are not up, they're down, and you can see this glow in people's eyes.
Yeah. I think the thing I loved about that one is that, love is kind of your destiny. It keeps coming back around because they were reincarnated. They have all these lives together where they would end up together or something. If you haven't seen it, I'm blowing it, obviously, which is one of my specialties. But
You just ruined the whole movie.
I
I'm
just
not gonna
ruined the
watch
whole
it now.
movie, and I'm glad
Not
my kids
watching
aren't in the room because they would be yelling at me.
That's no, I'm still gonna see it. I am.
Oh,
I'm
that's
gonna
cool.
watch it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye. You've been listening to Movie Making with Renelle Golden. See you next time.
This podcast has been sponsored by Samara Entertainment.